Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining me. I appreciate your attention. Um, I am absolutely losing my mind right now. I can't even contain myself, okay? My head has. I'm reading an article from NPR, and I can't. I can't even right now. I used to avoid the news at all costs because I just knew how corrupt and biased and it's just filled with so much propaganda and agenda. It it's just it's just saturated with BS, and people just eat it up, and they don't see it, they don't vet it, they don't filter it, they don't cross-reference it, they don't check it. And there's a huge difference between knowing something and understanding something. So a lot of times people just get information, they think they know something, but they really don't understand at all what's happening or what's going on. So I try to read information from different sources so I can understand what's happening and understand what's going on, not just be in the know, right? So I read this article from NPR and I am flipping out. I can't even right now, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and just read this article to you. You can find it. I just can't even right now. And like I said, I try to avoid news. I try to avoid media. But I tell you what, the past like 4, 5, 6 months, reading the news has been my favorite activity. I have absolutely fallen in love with the news and media and watching this circus sideshow. It is hysterical to watch. If you watch this from the proper lens, and if you're really paying attention from a distance, it is epic. It is a dumpster fire of epic proportions. I mean, dumpster fire, tire fire inside of a dumpster. I don't care. This is insane what's happening right now, okay? And I'm glad I pay attention to both sides, because I hate to be the one to tell you, but this is no longer the United States of America, okay? And if you believe that this is still the United States of America, you're on the wrong side of history. You're not paying attention. This is not the United States of America. We can keep calling it that, but that's not what it is. This is not the United States of America. None of that is real. None of that is true. We are in the divided states of hypocrisy. Okay? We don't have to get a new flag. We don't have to change our signage. We don't have to move everything around. We can just agree to continue to call it the United States of America. We just need to understand that's not what it is. Okay? So you know it. You know we're not the United States of America, but you need to understand it. I mean, there's a wedge between us. So many wedges in so many different directions: race, color, social status, class. It's endless. Tall, short, skinny, fat, Republican, Democrat, red, blue, liberal, conservative. I mean, the list is endless. Endless. Down to the sports teams you pay attention to. Oh, that guy's a douchebag because he likes the whoever. You know, it's like, I don't even want to call out a name because then I'm going to get trashed for picking that team. It's stupid. It's stupid. Most of us are brain dead. I'm brain dead, okay? This is how bad it's gotten. We live in the divided states of hypocrisy. And the hypocrisy at this point is so glaring and so obvious that people, again, are on the wrong side of history. They don't even understand. This war that we're in right now, will be over before most people even knew it happened. We are at war. Call it whatever you want. World War III, revolution, civil war, technological revolution, whatever you want to call it. But there are people right now, we live in a divided society, and some people are on the right side of history and some people aren't. Again, more division. There's a bigger gap between whose reality is correct, because everybody has their own perception But there's only one reality, and that's the reality we all share. But that reality has been so muddied over the past couple of decades that nobody can disseminate between fact and fiction and what is real reality and historical events versus a propaganda system designed to condition and control people and maintain an old way of life. It's gone, it's dead. Some people are on the wrong side of history. There's so many examples. I'll have to make a video about that, but I got to get to this NPR article. I can't even right now. I'm losing it. I used to hate the news. I love the news. I used to hate politics. I love politics. I love it. This is the most fascinating thing. I mean, I'm sure I'll get over it. I'm sure I'll get bored with it. But right now, what's happening in the United States, in politics, in media, in the streets of this country, behind closed doors, this is epic. This is epic. There is so much happening right now, and people are just oh man, I forget the exact quote, but Cuba Gooding Jr. said in a movie that if you keep your head down, your whole life will pass you by. And that's what's happening. People have their head down and their whole life is passing them by. Truth and reality and facts are just passing them by because they have their head down. And mainstream media is dropping them little tidbits of information and little notes, and they're like, okay, well down here we'll be safe. Oh, okay, well down here we'll be safe. Oh, this information? Okay, thanks, okay. I mean, this is insane. This is insane. And I guess that's why I'm excited, because I'm looking forward to this new, whatever this new joint reality is, because it's all going to come to a head. We can't continue down this path where we're pulling in two different directions. It's too stressful. Something's going to crack. Something's going to break. We can't continue on this path of so many people going in so many different directions at one time. It's an impossibility. Something has to give. And I'm excited to see what that looks like. And I'm hoping it's not horrific and terrible and dysfunctional. I hope it's all like, everybody keeps talking about the Great Awakening and this new reality. I'm not talking about the new normal. Those people I don't think have two IQ points to rub together, but a new Great Awakening, a new reality, a shared existence that we agree on. Because right now that's not it. Okay? So forgive me for already jabbering for too long. I need to get to this article, but I can't even. I love politics right now. I love the media right now. I say I love the media. It's not true, but I love the dumpster fire that is the media right now. I can't get enough of it. And again, these are just my opinions. These are just my beliefs. These are just what I'm into. This is something interesting to me. This is a hobby to me. Okay, so this is not. I'm no expert. I tell people all the time, I'm stupid, simple, and slow. So I'm probably on the wrong side of history too. So I'm not saying I'm right and everybody else is wrong. You can take my commentary as satire. I don't care. Like, this is just me venting my beliefs and my opinions and calling out what I consider BS. And if I think something's BS, I'm allowed to think something's BS. Okay, I should be allowed to do that. We still live in a free country, allegedly, right? So I should be allowed to think something's BS and comment on it. And that's, oh, I love you, NPR. This is going to be fantastic. Okay, let's get on it. So this is an NPR article dated May 28th, 2020. And the headline, very serious. Very serious. Stung by Twitter, Trump signs executive order to weaken social media companies. Stung by Twitter. Oh, he's such a vengeful bastard. You just get the tone right off the muscle. And really, they don't even want you to read the article. Let's just be honest. They don't want you to read the article. And I'm going to go all in. Most of you assholes. I'm sorry. That was inappropriate. I got to get my emotions under control here because I don't want to lose credibility in what I'm going to say. Okay, so most people do not and will not take the time to find the truth. Okay, the truth is not given. The truth is not provided. The truth is discovered. The truth is found. Okay? It's that simple. So if you're reading headlines and that is your idea of consuming information or gathering facts, or reading a headline is your idea of staying up to speed, or if your idea of how you form your opinions, if you don't even read the article, which most people don't even read the article, I can't tell you how many times a headline has made me furious, or even excited me. I'm like, see the headline, I'm like, thank God, finally somebody's telling the truth. And then I go read the article and it's trash, it's garbage, it's complete garbage. I don't even know how it's being circulated on the internet. It's trash. But the headline. So if you're a headline reader, stop paying attention to me, because you're not going to understand a word of what I'm saying. You're not going to get it. You're not going to be able to follow along because it's more than 8 words. Okay? So stop sacrificing the truth to save your time. You need to sacrifice your time to find the truth. That's it. That's it. And that doesn't mean you're going to be right all the time. And that doesn't mean I'm going to be right all the time. But at least you went through the steps to find the truth, rather than you just read a witty, clever, or insinuating type headline to get you to believe something. This headline, every headline, you need to understand what the headline's there for, is to grab your attention. But the problem with headlines now, and the time frame, this instant gratification society we live in, people read headlines, they assume the story, and now they have this belief in their head that they're in the know. Okay? So stop being a vulture that just pecks at headlines and thinks you understand what's going on. I don't know why I'm telling you to stop, because you're not going to, but that's what needs to happen. That's what should happen. Okay? So you can already tell by the headline of this article what direction they want you to think and believe. And again, they don't want you to read the article. They want you to think this. Stung by Twitter, Trump signs executive order to weaken social media companies. To weaken social media companies? What does that mean, to weaken them? I mean, that's like... Stung by Home Depot, Trump signs executive order to weaken big box stores. I mean, are you not tired of being jerked off by these people? These people are jerking you off. I mean, what is happening right now? This is trash. Stung by Twitter. Okay, so now the president, they want you to believe that the president is this vengeful, hateful human being that's just out to get these people, these billionaires. Think about that. He's out to get these billionaires. I mean, oh my goodness. Stung by Twitter, Trump signs executive order to weaken social media companies. It's going to be hard for me to get through this because there's so much nonsense in here. How bad is it that a moron like me has to fact check NPR? But the problem is that just because I understand it's nonsense, the hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people that either read the headline or read the article think that they know what's going on. And they think that they understand this scenario based on this article. And there's false information in this article. 100%. It's not even debatable. You can't argue what I'm about to tell you and what I'm about to show you. It's 100% false information in this article. Is it being screened? Is it being fact-checked? Is it being scrubbed from Facebook and Twitter and YouTube? Is it being removed? Is NPR being censored? Of course not. Of course not. Because this narrative fits the agenda. Okay? So, let's get into it. Oh man, I'm telling you, when I went through this a little while ago, my blood pressure was up. I thought I was going to have a stroke. The back of my head came off. The top of my head came off. Both sides of my head came off. And I kid you not. Stay tuned till the end. Because I kid you not, I get the last paragraph, and I agree with Nancy Pelosi. I can't even... What world are we living in right now? I can't... I agree with Nancy Pelosi. This is... Stay tuned. Stay tuned. That's all I can tell you. Okay. I gotta get to it. I gotta get through it. President Trump signed an executive order Thursday aimed at limiting the broad legal protections enjoyed by social media companies 2 days after he tore into Twitter for fact-checking 2 of his tweets. Sounds great so far, right? This is a quote, "We're here today to defend free speech from one of the greatest dangers it has faced in American history, frankly," Trump said from the Oval Office. "A small handful of powerful social media monopolies control a vast portion of all private and public communications in the United States." In my opinion, that's factual information, okay? A small handful of social media companies control the vast amount of public communication. That's a real thing. That's actually happening, okay? And it's very important, in my opinion, that these platforms stay unbiased, okay? That's my opinion. And that appears to be what the president is saying here, okay? Whether you like this man or not, because again, I understand there's a group of people that absolutely cannot stand this man, they hate this man, and he could come out there and tell you that the sky is blue and grass is green, and people will absolutely revolt against that. Denounce it and say that the sky is white and the grass is purple. They just will. That's how much they hate this man, okay? So based on the first 2 paragraphs of this, I agree with what's happening here. I agree with what he's saying here. A small handful of powerful social media monopolies control the vast portion of all private and public communications in the United States. Okay. The president said the tech companies have unchecked power to censor, restrict, edit, shape, hide, alter a large sphere of human interaction. They have points of view, he said. I agree with that. Nobody's able to tell them, and they have unchecked power to censor, restrict, edit, shape, hide, and alter. That's true. That's factual. That's a real thing. Okay, whether you like the president or not, that's real. And he says they have points of view, which means they have a perspective, which they do. Okay. The Trump administration hopes the order will eventually set the stage for new regulations on tech platforms such as Twitter and Facebook. But legal experts said, oh, this is my favorite. Legal experts. Oh, I can't get enough of this legal experts or any experts that these media outlets find to prop up their agenda. Experts. You know, it's funny that whenever something happens, these experts that you've never heard of in your entire life, you've never seen this person, you don't know their name, you don't know their history, you don't know their background, you don't know their intentions, you don't know their heart, you don't know their soul, you don't know anything about these people. But whenever a political party or a mainstream media news outlet or a social media outlet needs an expert or someone to back them up, they just go shopping for the first person that's willing to agree with them. Now, that person might already agree with them. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know who these people are. Never heard of them, never seen them. I'm just supposed to blindly trust that this person has my best interest in mind. And I'm supposed to blindly trust that this person knows what they're talking about. I'm supposed to blindly trust that this person doesn't have an agenda. I'm supposed to blindly trust that this person's giving me all the information. And I'm supposed to believe this person's being truthful. Oh man, experts. I can't. That's a whole nother video segment. Experts. Oh man. Okay. But legal experts said they were doubtful the move would have any practical effect on the tech giants. Legal observers described the action as political theater arguing that the order does not change existing federal law and will have no bearing on federal courts. My belief is that's not true. I think this opened the floodgates to a lot of litigation, a ton of litigation. And what I mean by that is when it says political theater, again, that's a shot at Trump. That's a shot at the president. Political theater. They make it sound like he's not actually doing anything. You understand what I'm saying? The message is he's not actually doing anything. He just wants TV time and he wants to be on theater and he's an actor. He's not a real president. He's a role player. I mean, political theater. Because that doesn't happen. Okay. Again, I disagree. I think this opened the floodgates. I think, and Dan Bongino said this, Twitter opened Pandora's box whenever they fact-check Trump's tweet. They have no idea what they did, what Pandora's box they opened when they fact-checked that tweet. And we'll get to that a little bit further, but to say that this does not change existing federal law, will have no bearing on federal courts, this is going to open the floodgates of litigation on social media platforms and what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, and censorship and bias information and removing content. The floodgates are open. Twitter has no idea the fight that they just started. They have no idea who they just messed with. Okay, so here we go. And I don't mean the president specifically. I'm not saying that Twitter doesn't know who they messed with in President Trump. I'm not saying that. Twitter doesn't realize Pandora's box they opened. They don't realize who they messed with when they messed with the sitting president. Regardless if that was Trump or anybody else. Trump might handle it different than a different president would, and his group might handle it different than a different president would, but a social media platform censored the president of the United States. And I say censored, they fact-checked a direct communication. I mean, that would be like him standing up, giving a speech, and while he's giving a speech, a news station is running a scrolling bar across the bottom saying what he's saying is not true. And we'll get to that in a second. I love it. Okay. Twitter, in a statement called Trump's order, a politicized approach to a landmark law, saying attempts to erode the decades-old legal immunity may threaten the future of online speech and internet freedoms. Thank you. I'm glad you said that, Twitter. I appreciate the leverage. Check this out. Twitter, in a statement called Trump's order, a politicized approach to a landmark law, saying attempts to erode the decades-old legal immunity may, quote, threaten the future of online speech and internet freedoms, end quote. This is the exact behavior that Twitter is guilty of that they're blaming Trump for. They're blaming a sitting president for the exact behavior that they're guilty of. Threaten the future of online speech and internet freedoms. That's exactly what just happened. They censored and fact-checked his online speech and internet freedom. There's supposed to be a platform where anybody can go post an opinion or a belief or a fact or whatever they want to post on there. You're allowed to believe whatever you want to believe. That's what this country's founded on. And if you're not sure if that's true or not, go read the Constitution. Read the Bill of Rights. This stuff matters. You're allowed to have beliefs in this country, and other people aren't allowed to question them. And it doesn't matter if it's God, Allah, Buddha, or whoever they worship in Scientology, or any of that. You're not allowed to question people's beliefs. So when Tom Cruise goes on Twitter and says, God bless Scientology, or whatever people in Scientology say, Twitter can't go on there and say, and fact check, hey, Scientology is kind of this fringe new religion that may or may not be real, or true, or whatever. So Twitter is accusing a sitting president of exactly what they're doing. This is so bizarre. NPR is just running with this story. threaten the future of online speech and internet freedoms. This isn't threatening the future of it. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, they've been doing this for years. There are dozens and hundreds of thousands of examples of Twitter, Facebook, YouTube scrubbing, removing content from their platform. They're the ones guilty of censoring and basically removing free speech and belief from these platforms and these internet freedoms that they say that Trump is jeopardizing. The president's trying to get them back. He's trying to get them back from people that have had them taken from them. But NPR and Twitter would have you believe it's the opposite. This is what I mean by the divided states of hypocrisy. This is not the United States of America. This is the divided states of hypocrisy. Twitter and NPR want you to believe that Trump is infringing on rights and beliefs for millions of Americans in these social media platforms. Jack and Zuck and all these guys are saying, crying foul, that the Trump administration's jeopardizing their ability to do business. These billionaires' ability to do business, while they're censoring people's ability to have an opinion. And they're saying Trump's the guilty party here. When Trump's trying to retrieve Trump, I need to start saying Trump. I need to say the president, because every time you say Trump, for whatever reason, just like when I can't even say that right now because it's going to discredit what I'm saying. I can't even say Trump because as soon as you say that, people immediately discredit everything that comes after that. They stop listening. So the sitting president is trying to retrieve people's rights that these billionaires and these platforms have taken from us, taken from me, and taken from lots of other people. Like I said, there's hundreds of thousands of examples of these platforms scrubbing, removing, falsely fact-checking, whatever you want to call it. I mean, banning, removing, censoring. There's just endless amounts of examples. Endless. It's absurd. And again, the people that don't care that it's happening are the people that agree with it. You know, like back in the day when I was going to make it use an analogy that wasn't going to be very appropriate, but this is insane. This is insane. The very people that the people that this doesn't affect because they agree with the agenda and the propaganda, they're not affected by this. So they're not going to fight. They're not going to stand up. They believe that what Twitter and YouTube and Facebook are doing, they believe in that. So they're not going to stand up for anybody else's rights that have had their rights stepped on. And again, I understand, I'm not stupid, that I don't have a right. I don't have a right, and Facebook doesn't owe me a platform. I understand that. They don't owe me a platform. But I also understand that they're doing their very best to censor free speech, and they're doing their very best to shut down anybody and anything that goes against the general narrative, their political beliefs. I'm never going to get through this article. I'm fired up over this. I am fired up because this is the exact nonsense as to why we're divided. Because when someone says A, B, and C, and then a news outlet goes and finds experts to twist it and manipulate it to where A, B, and C is now X, Y, and Z, we're never going to come together. We're never going to be on the same page. Because they're disseminating this information to millions of people, and it's not true. It's not real. Twitter is accusing the president, the sitting president, of exactly what Twitter's been doing for months and years. Threaten the future of online speech and internet freedoms. This is garbage, man. Moving on. Gotta keep it moving. The president's latest confrontation with Twitter was set off after the tech company placed fact-checking warnings on two of his tweets that claimed, without evidence, that casting ballots by mail allows for voter fraud. I'm going to read that again because this is a very important sentence in this article. It's very important that we go over this and get this right. The president's latest confrontation with Twitter was set off after the tech company placed fact-checking warnings on two of his tweets that claimed, without evidence, that casting ballots by mail allows for voter fraud. Without a doubt, with 100% certainty, That is false. I can tell you right now, that sentence is 100% factually incorrect. That is wrong. That is a lie. That is not true. It very, very clearly says in black and white right there. The president's latest confrontation with Twitter was set off after the tech company placed fact-checking warnings on two of his tweets that claimed, without evidence, that casting ballots by mail allows for voter fraud. I don't know how dumb a human being has to be to believe that. But I know they exist. I know they're out there. That is a lie. NPR's lying to you. Do you have internet access? Google voter fraud. Google mail-in ballot fraud. This is not new. This is not new. This has been a conversation for 2 decades.